Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville.
It's gonna be fun with these mics. Close mic. Reminds me of that Saturday Night Live skit.
Saturday Night Live skit.
Ask me about my muffins.
That NPR.
Oh man.
Skit. All right, fair enough. All right, so intro wise, I guess we'll get started on.
But free.
All right.
Ask me about my half chub.
So with the intro for myself, you want me to go ahead and just mention that I'm the host of Louisiana Loud Hour on Planet Radio 106.7. Is that how you want to do that? And then we'll...
Yeah, that's straight. I definitely want to give you a shout out.
Okay.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about Planet Radio.
All right, good deal. And I'll mention that we're at the Chris Logan Media Studios. Chris, is that how you want to address that? Yeah, that's cool. All right, good deal. All right. So we'll get started on that now, and then.
So we got
Only
those
on my
videos
time off.
coming.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
That was cool, and then we booked the studio.
Yeah, and so you guys recorded out at OCD Studios in, is it New Orleans or is it Metairie?
It's Metairie.
It's Metairie? Okay, well, you know.
Dwayne Semino,
That's where we track the drums.
the mastermind. And actually, like, the funny thing is, like, I wanted to record drums there anyway.
Right.
Like, that was already the plan. Whatever drummer we found, I was going to New Orleans to record drums, just because he's the man. Like, when it comes to drum sound, you listen to any Crowbar record that he's done Down, he's done Exhorter, man. So not only did we
Freaking
get
wizard.
the studio, we got the drummer, we got the drum kit,
And they
we
worked
got the
together
producer.
like they're like
You know, they've already
Yeah.
recorded a bunch of records together, so like they already had the drum sound down, but he still tried to not make it sound like Crowbar's drums.
Yeah, because sometimes you have that you have that sound, you know what I'm saying, that you can kind of hear it. I know personally, like I can tell where something was recorded, and people go, "Wait, you can tell that?" And like,
he
"Oh
had
yeah."
a dedicated ride symbol. He was like, "This is the Vermilion whiskey ride."
Yeah.
symbol.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
So
They don't like it in Crowbar. Use it for Vermilion. Hell yeah.
So that was super cool that we got to, you know, get all that packaged with Tommy, and
Right.
you know, it was a paid gig, you know, and but once we started rehearsing, he was like, "Man, I don't want any money. This is fun.
right.
Y'all are awesome. Like, I just want to do this." But you know, the dude put so much time and effort into practicing.
Did his homework.
You know, and writing. You know, some of the drum parts were somewhat written, but he wrote majority of everything. He just took everything and just tightened it up, man.
He put his stank on it for sure.
Oh, it's stanky.
So
Stanky. Like talk about the Get Down earlier.
Yeah.
Like what, Malika, is that her name?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So on the Get Down, we have like a crowd vocal.
Okay.
Right, that were recorded at the Boom Boom. We had a bunch of our friends come down. And
Right.
We did a
Chorus
crowd
part.
vocal, and Malika was there. She was part of it. And I remember the first time she heard the song, she was like, "Man, y'all really put your foot all up in that." We got to put that in the video.
Oh yeah.
We got to put that in the video.
That's my girl. She's my homegirl, man. We
In the intro.
can get her to
well, how,
record something.
Shit, that's awesome.
Told you.
you mentioned that y'all practiced with Tommy 4 times. How many sessions did y'all do at OCD?
So that was 4 rehearsals. When we booked the studio, we booked a weekend.
Okay.
So we went Friday, we set up the gear, we got sound checks, and then we went go party down at the Twisted Lime like we normally do.
All right.
Shout out.
Bean shots.
There we go.
Bean
Sean, Iris, Candy, all our good friends over there.
And then so we recorded Saturday and Sunday. We gave ourselves enough time just to not, you know, stress ourselves out.
Right.
And we recorded half the album Saturday and half the album Sunday.
So 2 days of just going in,
Just
recording
did the
it.
drums. That's it.
Yep.
So
Okay.
we laid down the drum tracks with Tommy, and then we went back to my home studio.
Gotcha.
And then we recorded, you know, all the strings, bass, vocals, and then sent everything back to Dwayne, and he mixed the record. And man, did he mix it?
Yeah.
Yeah. he did a great job.
It is a very full record. It is.
And it's exactly that. It's a record.
Yeah.
That's something, I wanted to do on the last record, but we couldn't afford it. So this was a big gamble for us. We got 300 records.
And it was
Beautiful
always
records.
written as a record too. There was,
Yeah, exactly.
We
always
wrote it
wanted-
That's a good
knowing that
point.
we wanted it on
That's a very
vinyl
good
from
point.
the jump.
Yeah, when we wrote it, it was time-wise, everything was made to
We
be
wrote an
listened to.
A side and a B side.
It was made to listen to as a whole.
The A side is, we've always said it's kind of what you expect to hear from Vermilion Whiskey moving forward after everything that's happened, And then it's like, okay, cool. And then you flip that sumbitch,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh,
It's wide open.
shit.
Yeah. It's wide open.
The B side is different, Like you said, the A side is what people would expect. It's great. I love the A side too, but don't get me wrong. But the B side, we go into some other stuff. One of TJ's songs that he wrote, along with this interlude piece of music that I wrote many years ago. I've been trying to figure out how to arrange it, and finally all came together into like a 10-minute song.
10-minute long
10-minute song.
opus, and it's just epic as shit.
Yeah.
It's made, and that's the thing about the record. It's 10 minutes. It's meant to play through, right?
Right.
So it's so different than what we've done in the past, and it was a big gamble because at 10 minutes, that's like a quarter of the record.
Yeah. I mean, especially on vinyl. Yeah. It's about a quarter of the record. You're right.
So I'm really interested to get feedback from, our fans and potential new fans who hear this song. Like I think some that's going to be their favorite song. I can't wait to see what the feedback is.
I'm stoked to see what everybody's favorite's going to be. I can't pick one, to be honest with you. I really can't.
I love it all. And it's weird because like the other records we've done, like I go back and I listen and I'm still super proud of them,
Yeah.
but when I listen to it, I'm thinking about, all this and that. Like when I listen to this, like
What
it's
you would've
something I
done
want to listen to,
differently.
like we're really proud of the music on this record. We really focused on songwriting on this record.
And really the album Crimson and Stone itself, like I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, it is definitely up there. And really this year it's one of my favorite records. Period. Like not just like locally. Like it's one of my favorite records so far that has been released. And I know we're only in the month of April, but I think this is definitely going to be one of those albums that at the end of the year I'm going to be like, oh yeah, hands down,
We think
fucking
so.
Vermilion
man.
Whiskey.
Yeah.
Like we broad many different genres. Like we're not
Yeah,
a
something
metal
for
band.
everybody.
We're even not really a stoner rock band. It's just kind of that's where we fit in mostly, you
Yeah.
know. So the big thing is just getting it out. I think once people hear it, they'll see what we're about. It's so hard these days to get music out. There's so much media out there.
We like to
it's-
write music, and just whatever comes out, comes out. We don't want to be pigeonholed to any kind of specific genre or fan base or anything. Like we want to write music that feels good to play,
Right.
feels good to to see people rocking out to, head banging, whatever. If you want to take a nap, cool. If you want to head bang and throw a mosh pit, cool, even better. Whatever. There's something for everybody.
What was that you said about your mama?
Oh yeah, if your mama don't like it, your record's trash. No,
My mom told me
Yeah.
yesterday how much. Actually, when we left the house, my
Yeah.
mom was there, and
she was
did.
telling me, "Oh, his record sounds great. I love it. It sounds really good." I was like, "You see, your mama likes it. If your mama you're doing something right."
Oh yeah.
My mom said she likes it. She's
And
she told me
Jason's
the other
mom
day
might be
she's
one
proud of
our
me.
biggest fans.
Oh, Mama's proud. She tells everybody.
Yeah.
Ask her, he's in Vermilion Whiskey. You heard of Vermilion Whiskey? Oh, playing over at the Feed and Seed for the Get Down.
My mom gets on these like forums and stuff where they listen to music and talk about it or whatever and chat. And she actually met this guy from Australia.
That's
And,
awesome.
Wanted to put our music out there in Australia on some kind of radio or something out there. So
Nice.
Very
we're gonna
cool.
be spinning out there at some point.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Really cool.
Worldwide.
That's my son. That's my son.
Worldwide,
Worldwide.
as Herman would say.
Well, we talked about the you've got 300 pressings of the vinyl. We actually did mention where you got that done. You got it locally done, correct?
Ola.
Yeah, New Orleans. So New Orleans Record Press, shout out to them. They were great. I was looking around trying to find the right record plant, and a lot of places wouldn't even take new customers. And then I found out about New Orleans Record Press from my partner over at Ben Michon, Big Frank, Fort Magnitris, Chemical City Rebels. That's how I found out because they pressed Chemical City Rebels
Yes.
album over there, and then come to find out, Radiant Knife, local band in Lafayette, and they got a new record coming out. Really stoked about that. So we went to New Orleans Record Press. We got a little tour of the facility. It was immediately like, these are the guys who
We were
need to do
stoked on
this.
that.
So yeah, they did it. It was awesome. We could do it right here in Louisiana.
Go pick them up instead of having to ship
Right.
them, which
Yeah.
costs a lot of extra money.
It
And
does.
And it's fun to always make a little trip and go, hey, we're going to go grab our 300 vinyl albums, man, from New Orleans. And
This was a big milestone for us.
Yeah. And there's 5 colors, correct?
That's right. So
5
we got
colors?
the black, and then the album's called Crimson and Stone, right? So we have a crimson color, which is what New Orleans Records Press calls the Phoenix,
Right.
Which was very symbolic
Got
to
some
us.
purple in there.
Coming out from the ashes, rebranding our music, and then we have the Phoenix, which is not the Phoenix, the Stone. I'm sorry.
Café au lait.
Yeah, and then this is what they call the Candy Cane.
Okay.
So this is like limited edition. This is the signed copy. So we got together with Tommy. He signed this.
Beautiful.
We got a beautiful merch package.
Little
that goes
extras
along
in
with
there,
this,
little
all the
line
little
out.
stickers and
Guitar picks.
yeah. And this is what we're calling the European version.
Gotcha.
So we hooked up with a record label out in Germany, Cosmic Artifacts. Kai over there. And we shipped them 25 copies to Germany.
Awesome.
It was an investment to ship them over there.
Right.
But we really want to start getting our music over there. If we break even on this record over there, we're fine with it. We just want to get the music out there. We want people to hear this record.
We want to go to Europe.
We do want to go to Europe.
I want to go across the pond.
Yeah,
I want to
think-
eat fish and chips and sling smoked meats from South Louisiana and tasty riffs.
Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, we do good over there. I think we would. We just got to get on with the right band and the right label.
Right.
Hopefully, get on a festival. But a lot of people like search out. Like Louisiana music. Like we have a certain sludge sound, right? I wouldn't say we're categorized into sludge, but if you
There's definitely elements in there for sure.
Down in COC, just to mention the big ones.
Yeah, and we talked about Planet Radio at the beginning, and we're all sitting at this table. I'm pretty sure that we all, as youth, went and watched some of the bands that we mentioned here.
Oh, yeah.
As younger, influential,
There's a reason
people.
why those bands come up when we're
Right.
talking about all
Yeah.
this, because those are our influences.
Yeah,
and
and
those
so-
are who molded us into what we are and where we are today. Like,
Yeah, and so that sludge, quote unquote sludge, we don't it's really funny. It's like we didn't coin that term. Somebody else did, and it was always something where I found it very interesting how somebody slapped a label on it, and for us, it was just a sound. Like it was just something that everybody was, not everybody, but it was just a sound that people were
it was never
part
a
of.
label for a type of music. It was just
A feeling.
it's sludgy, sludgy riffs.
I hate categorizing music, but I mean it's kind of what you have to do at a certain point. But it's like for us, I always
rock and roll.
Like through the years, I've always tried to not brand us as Southern,
Right.
although our sound is obviously Southern.
Yeah, ain't no denying that.
But I don't want to get pigeonholed into like Southern because we do so much more than that. And even like sludge, like we have a lot of sludgy moments
goes without
on this
saying.
record.
We're Southern.
But I hate putting us in that category. But that's the same thing like when people say, "Oh, you're from Louisiana, man. You from New Orleans?" Nah, man, we ain't from New Orleans.
Yeah.
Like people don't. I have to tell people this all the time. Like where we're from in Acadiana is completely different.
Yeah.
Than New Orleans. Like,
Yeah.
Our traditions, everything. We could have a whole podcast where we talk about
The cultural aspect, and
Where we're
differences,
from.
yeah.
We
Right.
can cover boudin, cracklins, and all the whole gambit.
Oh yeah. So we kind of get lumped into New Orleans, but we do our own thing. Like it's so much fun when we go play Texas, right? And then TJ, we're all from Louisiana. To hear him talk coon ass up on stage, like some of our fans sometimes they're like, man, it took. I'm trying to figure out what you're saying sometimes, like because once we have a few little drinks of whiskey or something on stage, he be talking all this nonsense, man.
You gotta
Starts coming out thick there, TJ.
tick tick, and you turn it on, bro, and they're like, oh man, but they eat it up. They love it.
So we
They love
kind of
it.
use that, on stage.
That's our
because
thing.
that's where we're from, man.
It's not
fake. Like
it's not an act. It's not a shtick.
If you should,
it just comes out that way.
If you could hear the conversations that go on in the van.
Oh,
my God.
The
It is
Bougie
hilarious.
Express.
Oh,
Bougie
man.
Express.
Oh man.
You
People don't know.
we're
about Bougie
pulling up over this prime example, right? We're pulling up over here, and we're looking for this place.
in Church Point.
Yeah. And there's this yard around the corner. It's got a bunch of like 4 barbecue pits, a bunch of crap in the yard, like somebody.
Yeah, Sanford and Sons.
Yeah,
Mall.
this dude says, I bet he can make some good hog head cheese. It was like, there you go.
Well, yeah,
There you
probably
go.
so. More than likely. So, all right. Well, with the album itself, like you talked about backwards and forwards, side A, side B. As a whole, this album really, like, I kind of want to know individually, like, how do you all view this individually as a whole body of work? Like obviously, we've talked a lot about the album and a few of the tracks, but as a whole, like, I kind of just want to know where you guys feel.
Best thing I've ever done musically so far.
Okay.
And it's a labor of love, extreme love, not desperation, but pulling all the stops. Like we said, me and Ross were like, what do we do? Where do we go from here? Do we keep going? Do we stop and shut it down? And we took a chance. We took a gamble. I'm glad we did. We decided, fuck it, dude. Let's go for broke. Let's continue to write this music, which was already kind of being written. It was already kind of moving forward, and we were really enjoying what we were writing. And we said, screw it, dude. Let's just do it. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. If it does, here we are.
Right.
It's Crimson and Stone is literally that whole scenario. Mm-hmm. This album is about, and there's a whole lot of different things that we're talking about in these songs, but as a whole, Crimson and Stone is about the shit we went through when we were deciding whether we were going to do this or not, and the work it took and the dedication it took to get here.
Right.
We worked our asses off, and we're very, very proud of this thing. I'm very proud of it. Like I said, it's the best thing I've ever done, and this sumbitch is going on the wall of the house.
Absolutely.
I'm proud of every signature that went on my copy. Yeah, I'm so happy to be able to work with all these guys that I consider my brothers at this point. We're a family, and we're going to continue to be a family. And Vermilion Whiskey ain't going no fucking where. That's my
That's yours.
that's my spiel
That's
on
your
it.
spiel on it. All right.
Yeah.
It's just, these songs are so fun to play. It's nice putting out a record that I could see myself 10, 20, maybe 30 years from now still playing these songs and still enjoying it, because we put so much heart and thought into writing everything that we crafted it so well that you can't go wrong with the end product. So it's just so much fun playing it. It almost feels new every time too, because it's just the same but different, but comfortable, and just very very organic, just from front to back. And it's one of those I can't listen to just one track. It all kind of flows
Right. The whole
together.
thing.
Like,
Yeah, hearing the album in its
Ridiculous.
entirety. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but hearing the album in its entirety at the Get Down was really nice. I found it really
Appreciate that.
really
Yeah.
nice and enjoyable.
And you
to hear
notice
the
how
whole
we
thing from
played
front
it
to back.
in order,
Yep.
like it is on the album.
Oh, well, and that was
that's how it's meant to be played.
and
That's
that
how
was-
we wanted it to be from the beginning.
I had bought my vinyl before, and so I flipped it over, and I was like, "Oh, they're literally running the whole thing like front to back, like it's played on the vinyl." So, anyways, Ross, I mentioned like as a whole, and you've kind of espoused a lot of things during this podcast about how you feel about the album. But is there anything else you want to kind of mention?
I don't know, man. That's a tough question. Like
Nutshell,
it's
Dad.
like a child, like
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I couldn't pick a favorite song. Like I don't know. It's just there's so much work that went into it. From the beginning, not knowing if we're gonna do it, to writing it, to the drummer, to the studio, to all this, right? And all the effort it went into releasing the album with the PR campaign and all the videos and a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
But I think just like looking back, just to like be physically here talking about it, have this record in my hand, like
All worth it.
I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, and you gave me, and I guess I have to thank you for this part. Is you kind of gave me a little bit of an introspective look, which I never feel deserving for, by the way. So thank you guys very much for trusting me with some of the things that you guys want to talk about behind closed doors about your bands. And it's the one thing that I have to say is like different for me, I guess, because I don't know if there's too many other people that
You're part of a
musicians
select few people that
come to
that we
and I appreciate that. I really do.
definitely indulge information with, and it's all people who have helped us to get where we are, man.
Well,
Judd
and-
Kennedy being one of them, dude.
Right,
I
yeah.
mean, he like we were talking about us playing back in the day at Sadie's and stuff. That's where I learned how
Yeah.
to be a professional on stage, on and off stage.
really
get
the only
set
reason.
up, tear down, and all that good stuff. And
Shout out to Judd.
yeah, and it just there's a good bit of people who we trust with that information and who we know are genuinely excited to hear that kind of stuff. They're like, oh yeah, and then they push us and they drive us to do this stuff. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for any of those people.
Yeah.
just like you.
There was definitely a lot of
I appreciate
that.
that.
So
Yeah,
like
man.
when we first did like the videos with Tommy, let's say like the
Yeah.
rehearsal sessions, you know, I captured all that, and I made a little YouTube video just private to like, you know, stockpile footage, to archive stuff for our own stuff, and you know, I sent that to some friends. You know, we
Right.
got a lot of feedback, especially when we started recording the record. You know, there was like a select, very small group of people, like maybe
People we
5
know
or
aren't
6
going to
people.
blow smoke.
Right.
You know, and they really helped us, you know, somewhat produce the album.
Yeah.